Avernus.
So you are taking us into Avernus.
Yes.
How does everyone feel about this? Like, why was this choice made?
What do you mean, why was this choice made? Because it's an easy choice. Avernus is awesome. And what do you say about what would you say if I told you, oh, we're going to Avernus?
The answer was yes. You had me at we're going to. I was like, wait, I've already, the dice, I got the sword and the shield. I'm in. Yeah,
So
definitely.
We're strapped and packed, ready to go.
What? How did this decision come about?
So we just wanted to do something. So there's like 2 layers to it, right? There's one layer of you want to do something really exciting. People who don't know D&D, you can just say, oh, it's like imagine if you took post-apocalyptic, auto-dueling and combined it with hell, right? And oh, that just sounds cool. But then for like experienced gamers, and you're writing a comic book series through IDW tied into D&D. We want to inspire other creators to think, oh, these are real cool pieces that I want to, build my stories with, and so. That's really, I think, where it comes down to. It's something that's nice and flavorful, and just hopefully, if we're doing it right, inspiring.
It's advancing the world. It's not just a gimmick.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. And I think it's accomplished that from what I've seen. I think it's fantastic. Yeah, because we've spent a lot of time above ground in the Forgotten Realms. Might as well see what it's like down south.
Exactly.
Way down south.
Way down.
In Avernus.
What has it been like to be a comic book writer for D&D? Like, that has to be just mind-blowing for a fan of D&D growing up and then to be in a moment like this.
Honestly, it's insane. And it's just the idea that I get to add a link to the chain of all of this is kind of the most incredible thing. And I really did work to weave a lot of elements of this narrative into the comic. I also took a lot of all the way back to the very first Forgotten Realms story, Darkwalker on Moonshae, and took elements of that and brought it forward. So I really did try and overlap D&D's past, present, and future into this. And hopefully I succeeded, but it's like the whole book is it's a love letter to Dungeons & Dragons, basically. And it's been insane. Honestly, I know that's not the best word, especially for someone who's allegedly a wordsmith. But it's like every time people like, so you're a professional DM, and it's like, I guess? I didn't know that's a thing, but here we are? Yeah, right, it's the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, my brother called me a professional DM, and I'm like, I don't think I'm ready for that responsibility.
I mean, it's on my LinkedIn.
It's on your...
It's legit.
Well, then it's true. Anything you put on
enter
LinkedIn.
any job you want in LinkedIn. It's verified. They verify that, right? It's a legit job now.
It's done. It's real.
I didn't even know LinkedIn was still around.
That's because you've been off being like big time showbiz D&D man.
Yeah.
Doing this.
Yeah,
The little people,
Hollywood
Todd,
now.
the
Super
little
famous.
people still
Right.
need to
Tell
to
me
do
more
the hustle.
famous. Tell me more about how famous I am.
Hey, some of us knew you when you had hair.
That's true, right?
That is true. Some of us did. But then I had to have so many interviews with this guy.
Try to keep you on your toes.
Just
That's the
slowly
goal.
fell out. Mainly, I blame Perkins. Stressing me out. What is your favorite element of Avernus? Like, what is the one thing? Because I remember seeing the concept art and being part of that big secret meeting and seeing the idea for Avernus, and I was just like, why can I not have today? What are your favorite parts?
So I think one of my favorite part is, you go through that concept art phase where you start seeing it come to life, and Max Dunbar took the demons and started to play with them and sort of show, well, if you had a demon that was bound to a certain demon lord, because demon lords are just the ultimate solipsists, like, I am the center of the universe, right? That's what the demon lord would tell you. And so how it starts to transform their demonic followers, they literally start to look like them. And so when he showed some of the
Just like your
concept
dogs.
art- well, I think they just
what happened.
right, yeah. That's how you do. That's why my dogs all wear glasses and like.
Yeah. I shaved my Tibetan Spaniel recently.
But so seeing
Tibetan Spaniel, like pinky up dog breed.
Hey. He's a lovely boy, and his name is Fizzgig.
I'm sure he's the best boy. Just saying, my Tibetan Spaniel. Like, I didn't know. I left my ascot in the car, Todd Kenrick.
You're always coming at me. You're always coming at me about my scarf. You're always coming at me about my dog.
It's because it works, though.
Let's get back
it's
to
all on brand.
Maybe we should get back to hell.
That's my best part of Avernus.
So what-
Tibetan Spaniels.
How dare ye? All right, so let's get back. See, this is why I don't interview. I'm not going to interview again. This is it.
You're done. This is the last
I
one.
will have died how I've lived.
You've seen it. This is collectible now. It's the last one,
This is-
right?
yeah,
It's over.
this is, yeah.
We have broken you. Finally
Yeah, you've broken me. Mike Mearls combined.
did it.
So what is your
Told you
favorite
you
part
had
of
me,
it?
Forcer.
What is your favorite part? Just tell me your favorite part.
I
about
did.
Avernus.
I told you it's the demons and how they get turned some of the demon lord that they swear to.
That's true.
I
All
literally
right.
gave you
See,
an
look, that
answer.
was so much faster.
And then you just
This is
started
very
provoking
succinct.
Dave over here.
I did not provoke
Yes,
Dave.
you did. You started talking
You
with your
saw
dog.
it. There's video footage.
No.
I was
It
just
is
here
recorded.
minding
This
my
is
own
not my
business.
fault. This is not my fault. What is your favorite part about Avernus, other than Tibetan Spaniels?
It just, well, I mean, besides the obvious, Zariel. Zariel's plotline. Because Zariel, is so much so, I was so compelled by that, I took it, and Zariel's plotline features very prominently in my book. But it was because I thought that was interesting. The idea of the fallen angel, the idea of that last watcher on the wall who's kind of gone a little crazy in the process of trying to win, that was interesting and compelling to me. Because some of the other characters being like, I'm the personification of the ultimate evil, is all well and good, but it's like, well, you're not, or at least you weren't.
Yeah.
You know, how did it get here? How did that happen? Because I love those characters. I love the Anakin Skywalker arch, the Arthas Menethil arc, you know, I really meant well, I really did, and now I'm literally in hell and ruining it for everybody.
I,
Yeah.
mean, I like the human element that she brings to it. I mean, obviously she's the supernatural divine creature,
Right.
But hopefully it's like very relatable. I thought Adam Lee did a great job laying out that basic framework. But that was sort of one of his key parts of his pitch, was this idea of the fallen angel and what's her story and can she be redeemed? And that being a question we're just going to throw at the players and let them
Right.
figure it out.
Right.
And that's the threat. Like, Zariel is the embodiment of the threat to the players. Because, kind of like in Tomb of Annihilation, you go there, you're probably going to lose a limb, or worse. But when you go to Avernus, that's the threat for any heroic character. That deal after deal, conversation after conversation, thing that you let slide,
Yep.
you can become Zariel.
Yeah.
Right? Like, she's the embodiment of what can happen to the players.
In D&D, that's how hell works. It's not like you instantly embrace hell. It just, they slowly weigh you down. And it looks so reasonable. And it just slowly, with each deal, you give up a little bit more of yourself, and then suddenly you find yourself part of the machine that you hate so much. That was one of the things we came up with, was this idea that every devil hates being in hell.
Yeah.
They hate it. They hate the hierarchy. All they want is they hate the person who's above them and want to displace them, and they fear the person who's below them because they know they're trying to displace them. And it's misery, you know, but it's something that you don't get there because I like being miserable. No, you get there because you think, well, but if I just give this up, I'll get some power. And if I kind of give this up, then I can kind of, well, you know, I don't know if I like, but it's going to advance me. And then slowly but surely, that's how they get you, right?
What about that journey is appealing to you? What do you think is going to happen to your players and your characters when they go into this? Like, are you already kind of like excited to see the twisting and the warping?
Yes, because to me, again, like I run a lot of high level campaigns, and the baseline element of the story and why we're even doing it is not about the acclamation of power, it's about the application of power. Like, what are you going to do with this? So I'm constantly dangling moral conundrums in front of them of, you know, here's this dude and he deserves to get pasted. Are you going to paste him? And sometimes the answer is yes, and sometimes the answer is no. So the idea that they're going to be in this place, like my characters, I already know at least one of them is probably going to end up a demon lord, probably. At least one of them is going to die on the hill of trying to bring Zariel back, probably. And the other three are just kind of going to play it where it lay, most likely. If I had to wager a guess, that is what is going to happen. Yeah.
Now, obviously, you've known about the book for some time, being the creative director. I mean, if not, then you should probably talk to someone about that.
Pay attention. It's not all just naps and playing video games at work, is it, Mearls?
It's playing Overwatch.
Yeah.
What was there an element in the playtesting? Did you playtest it as well? Was there something that came across that was like unique that people just globbed onto? I mean, I feel like Infernal War Machines, but
Yeah, I think that's the instant hook, is the Infernal War Machines. Driving around and literally a hot rod in hell, that's hard to say no to. But I know from my point of view, I didn't do a lot of playtesting, because typically I get involved in the sort of high-end discussion.
Right.
When Adam said, here's my concept, the hot rods in hell, and I instantly fell in love with it. And then it's like, okay, this is amazing. And then what if we tie this over to Baldur's Gate, which is a city all about corruption and kind of losing yourself, similar to hell, kind of losing yourself. Do you give in to the temptations here? Do you
The
start
Gotham of D&D.
The Gotham of D&D, exactly. Do you save the city or save yourself, or just say, forget it, I'm going to let it all burn? And it was fun seeing that all come together and see Baldur's Gate really come to life in the tabletop space, maybe in a way it hasn't before. It's like, it was really fun seeing the city grow and the concept around it, and how that tied into the Hell story arc. Where there is just this feeling the players have of, like, what is the price of power? What are you willing to give up? And that Baldur's Gate's a city that is in some ways is a bit like Hell, right? There's a hierarchy. It's a lot more informal. But it's just as dangerous in a lot of ways as to who you are as a person.
Was this intimidating for you to include the comic books in this? To, like, build up to this? Or did you even know you were doing it?
Oh yeah, it was my idea. Yeah. No, I'm like, no. To me, again, it was a love letter. So I wasn't worried about doing it wrong. I wasn't worried about making a mistake. It is mostly nods and homages, because I knew there was some timing that was truly out of my hands. So I couldn't know if people were going to read this before that or whatever. I needed it to kind of be able to stand on its own. And I made it more, again, about that human cost. That it's because one of my characters, who shall remain nameless, spoiler alert, their path very closely parallels Zariel, to the point that they know Zariel. And when they're kind of happening in parallel, you might not draw that conclusion, but when it's all done, and someone has played this adventure and read the book and can be like, is what I was after, and hopefully accomplished.
And what's that comic book again?
Dungeons & Dragons: A Darkened Wish, available in fine comic book retailers now from IDW Publishing.
All right, thank you so much, Mike, for doing this interview. B. Dave as well, and for not making fun of me at all.
Thanks to Dave for keeping this guy in line.
I am awesome. I am fine.
I told you. We weren't rolling yet, but I was like, we're going to look like Mearls and Enforcers. And he's like, I wish I had Enforcers. I'm like, you do.
I do.
Right now.
Yeah, we're the bouncers.
Right, there
Todd.
it is.
Yeah.
You're the one enforced.
I'm enforced? I've been enforced?
You were enforced.
Okay,
But you look awesome, though.
You do
yeah,
look awesome.
I do look great.
You look very awesome.
No, thank you. I'm glad that we could all come around full circle and get to that point. Thank you for being on D&D Beyond.